From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Good Tuesday morning. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth. We do still have this Williams mine fire that's burning in southwestern Yakima County. We'll go ahead and take a look at that one. And this one is starting to flare up again, specifically on the northern side of the perimeter, as this is now above 12,000 acres. So it grew by about 400 acres yesterday. It's now 31% contained, but it's been 31% contained for a while, and obviously we still have a lot more work to do with this one. That's the only active wildfire burning within the region, so now we'll pivot to temperatures as we're in the 60s and 70s out there. 69 in the Tri-City, 72 up towards the Hanford side. So pretty balmy out there for this morning. Might need a light jacket, though, even a rain jacket potentially necessary for portions of the foothills and also for the Blue Mountains. But the bulk of the lightning at this point is now off towards our east in the Wallowas. So here's the bottom line for the forecast. A few showers lingering for this morning, but overall much drier compared to yesterday. And then we get into a very hot and dry stretch. I'll tell you just how hot coming up on Good Morning Northwest, which starts right now.
Straight ahead on Good Morning Northwest, a woman crashed a car into a church in Benton City, causing the church to delay the start of its preschool. Details coming up.
And in Yakima, you now have to have a permit if you want to park in 2-hour spots past the time limit. We have how residents are feeling about this. Good Morning Northwest starts right now.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good Morning Northwest, on your side.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica Jalal.
And I'm Jill Sperling. It is Tuesday, September 3rd, back in the work week after that Labor Day holiday.
Yes, we were laboring away.
Well, we were, yeah.
And I just realized I thought it was Wednesday or Thursday.
Oh, you're skipping ahead of the week.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. It's going to be one of those mornings. Maybe some of you at home are also having those mornings because Labor Day was yesterday, so it's probably a shorter week.
Messes with the mind a little bit.
Yeah. We're going to start off your top stories with we're learning more about a crash near Ellensburg over the weekend that took the life of a 10-year-old boy.
Apple Valley News Now's Emily Goodell reports the Washington State Patrol says it wasn't a typical fatality crash.
2 young boys from Sunnyside, passengers in a van driven by a 24-year-old woman traveling eastbound on I-82 7 miles east of Ellensburg on Sunday afternoon. The driver changing lanes only to hit a semi-truck also headed eastbound.
This type of crash isn't like a lot of them that we see where there's like reckless driving or, person was under the influence of drugs or alcohol or anything like that. It just looks as if the van just crossed over and made an unsafe lane change and then collided into the semi-truck.
The roadway closed for hours as investigators collected data.
Of course, that's taken back and processed a different location, and they continue their investigation even while off the road. So this collision still is under investigation, but the final cause was it was an improper lane change. The
24-year-old van driver and 37-year-old semi-truck driver, both wearing seatbelts, were uninjured. And while the 8-year-old boy wasn't wearing a seatbelt, he survived with no injuries. But the 10-year-old boy who was wearing a seatbelt died at the scene.
Though it still remains true that half of all of our fatalities in this area, I can't say statewide, but at least in our area, half of our fatalities are not wearing seatbelts. So, yeah, that is odd.
Troopers say few fatality accidents caused by inattention alone.
But I think it also goes to show all of us that as we're driving these vehicles, these are dangerous weapons that we're driving. So paying attention at all times is super important because it's a big responsibility and there's a lot of us out here. So yeah, kind of keeping our head on a swivel at all times for sure.
Because it could happen to anyone. In Ellensburg, Emily Goodell, Apple Valley News Now.
Troopers say it's especially important to pay attention during high traffic holidays like Labor Day weekend.
Another crash over the weekend is now delaying the first day of preschool at a Benton City church.
Now, we told you about this crash yesterday morning. A woman crashed her car into the First United Methodist Church on 9th Street in Benton City. The Benton County Sheriff's Office says the woman was taken to the hospital to be treated for injuries and charges are pending.
Classes were supposed to start today but have been delayed due to the damage. One parent says she's frustrated about the delay in classes.
I don't have childcare because I'm a single mom to these twins, these two. And so I have to get my babysitter figured out a little better because I wasn't planning on having them start till 11 o'clock on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
At this time, there is no word on when the preschool will be open.
A Walla Walla man has been identified in a fatal car crash that happened Saturday. Authorities with the Walla Walla County Sheriff's Office and the Washington State Patrol responded to a single car crash that happened just before midnight on Middle Waitsburg Road and Chase Road.
Authorities say it appeared to be a rollover crash. 18-year-old Sean Solers died at the scene, and what led up to the crash is still under investigation at this time. The Sunnyside Police Department is investigating a shooting that happened Sunday night. Officers responded to reports of gunshots in the 1100 block of East Decatur Avenue just after 11 p.m. They say they found a 33-year-old man at a home on Decatur Avenue who had suffered a gunshot to the chest.
The man is currently in stable condition, and if you have any information, you can call the Sunnyside Police Department at the number on your screen.
Fire crews in Franklin County put out a vegetation fire that popped up along 395 about 10 miles north of Pasco. Callers told dispatch they could see smoke in the air as they drove along 395 in the southbound lanes. Fire engines and water tenders raced to the scene, and the Franklin County Sheriff's Office also responded to help.
The fire was out within 15 minutes of the call with minimal damage done. The region is expected to continue to see dry conditions this week, which could keep fire crews busy throughout next weekend. The city of Yakima is reminding residents of downtown Yakima that if they want to park in 2-hour spots past the time limit, they need a permit for that.
Residents have reportedly complained to the city about receiving tickets for staying past the limit when other spots were full. Now that the city is enforcing parking time limits again, residents will need to pay $50 a year to be able to stay past that limit.
They require an application be taken by the utility services with the applicant's name, address, telephone number, proof of residency, information on the vehicles, and then the names of the people living in that residential structure.
Suggested areas for parking are on South 4th Street, Chestnut Avenue, and South 3rd Street.
Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, a strike affecting dozens of hotels across the country is growing as workers demand pay increases. Coming up, we have how the strikes could affect hotel guests.
And Chief Meteorologist Josh Culbreth will have your weather forecast. Good Morning Northwest. We'll be right back.
Craving our world-famous hand-rolled crisp burritos with creamy, bacony, chipotle, smoky goodness? Try our new smoky pork crisp burrito for a limited time. When you know what you want, anytime is taco time.
Hit by a big truck? It could be from bad air hoses in the brake system. I'm attorney Mariana Morales, and at my law firm, we have a special team that knows how trucks work and what goes wrong. We know how to prove it was the truck's fault. Big truck insurance companies know that we have the experience and knowledge it takes to get you paid everything you deserve. Hit by a big truck? Our team knows truck wrecks and how to win for you. I'm attorney Mariana Morales, the big truck heavy hitter.
Call 853-2222.
At the Pacific Clinic, we understand the juggle of parenthood. That's why the PC is your one-stop shop for all your health, sports, and medical needs. Schedule your appointments around your favorite group fitness classes and use our on-site childcare services.
From women's health to care for your little ones, we practice a comprehensive approach to keep your family feeling great.
With our quick and convenient scheduling, we'll get you in within the same week, often the next day. Call us today at 509-783-5465.
Dishwasher on the fritz, laundry giving you fits, a water heater that quits. In a world without Culligan, hard water makes life harder. Get a Culligan softener, the world's best. Put your water worries to rest.
Save now with Cascade Farm and Outdoors' latest mailer. Watch for it in your mailbox or pick up a copy in store. It's the perfect time to get the perfect pair of jeans. Save now on women's premium jeans. Stock up on Golden Fire or Lignetic's 40-pound stove fuel pellets. Plus, compare and save on Nutrina NatureWise 40-pound layer feed crumbles or pellets on sale now. Reap big savings store-wide with our latest mailer at Cascade Farm and Outdoor. Northwest, homegrown, honest values.
Craving our world-famous hand-rolled crisp burritos with creamy, bacony, chipotle, smoky goodness? Try our new smoky pork crisp burrito for a limited time. When you know what you want, anytime is taco time.
Where am I supposed to go from here? My entire life I've been pouring into people. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't know what I'm going to do.
An awesome water skiing adventure. Fly the Northwest tonight at 6. From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colberth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. We have a lot of light haze out there for this morning. That's what's indicated by this gray color, and we'll show you what happens to all this a little bit later in the day with Futurecast. And as we put this into motion, this is 5 p.m. The best air quality is probably going to be in Kittitas County, also in the Cascades of Yakima County. But for the rest of us, still dealing with some light haze. And into the late evening, looks like we should get additional clearing in Kittitas and Yakima counties. But watch what happens tomorrow. We'll get a little bit of a resurgence of some of this light haze. And again, it still will be pretty light for most spots for both days. We're not expecting any significant reductions in air quality. Here's your coat cast for today for the Tri-Cities. Going with a raincoat for this morning as there is a little chance of some showers before 8 a.m. But after that, it's going to be dry. Skies will be clearing and it's going to be sunny and warm. So obviously, it's going to be more t-shirt weather. So for today, we'll have highs that'll be just a few degrees above average for this time of the year. Again, there will be some clouds for this morning, but a little bit later today, plenty of sunshine. And as we move further and further into this work week, it's only going to trend hotter and hotter. I'll show you just how hot we're going to be by the time we get to the weekend. That's going to be coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. A strike affecting dozens of hotels across the country could grow today. The union is threatening to add Hilton, Hyatt, and Marriott locations in more cities. The workers are demanding wage increases and an end to pandemic-era service cuts. Amy Kiley reports on how the walkouts could affect guests.
Some travelers could see service disruptions as a hotel worker strike continues for a third day. The walkout includes more than 10,000 Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt employees. The dozens of affected hotels across the country are open, but some guests have complained about reduced services. The facilities are operating with smaller staffs.
I think it's probably very limited services inside because we had very few workers cross the line and go into work, so it means management is doing all the work that we normally do.
Unite Here is the union that represents the striking workers.
They would like to be able to provide for their families and live in the same cities that they welcome guests to every day.
The union says the chains still have some pandemic-era cuts in place. For instance, some hotels don't automatically provide daily housekeeping.
It makes the work harder for the workers that remain, and it makes the hotels less appealing to guests.
In a statement, Hyatt says it looks forward to fair contract negotiations. Hilton says it's also committed to reaching a deal with the union.
And it's really hard to be in this business and smile and greet the guests when in the back of your mind, you're trying to figure out where your next meal is going to come from.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Marriott did not immediately return a request for comment. Today was scheduled to be the last day of the strike. Now, there are also hotel workers on the picket line in Seattle. More than 700 workers in the area have been working without a contract for months. Their union calls for better wages, workload, and work protections. Workers from the Westin Seattle, the Airport Hilton, and the Airport Doubletree joined the strike on Sunday morning. Well, there appears to be a fairly egregious case of billionaire do as I say, not as I do happening at X. Take a look at what X owner Elon Musk posted. This image shows what looks like Vice President Kamala Harris in a red communist uniform. Musk wrote, "Kamala vows to be a communist dictator on day one. Can you believe she wears that outfit?" Now, of course, Harris never wore such clothing. This is a doctored image that clearly violates X's policy forbidding manipulated or out-of-context media that may deceive or confuse people. It comes days after former President Donald Trump also shared a phony image of Harris on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. Musk's comment seems to be in response to Harris warning that Trump would be a dictator on day one. Up next on Good Morning Northwest, possessing small amounts of drugs is once again illegal in Oregon, and Sunday was the first day the law went into effect. When we come back, we look at how one group is out on the streets trying to help people and prevent them from going to jail. That story in just a few minutes.
Poor maintenance, old tires, bad brakes, that could be why the big truck hit you. Hit by a big truck? I know how to be their insurance companies. I'm attorney Mariana Morales, the big truck heavy hitter.
Call 853-2222. I have prepared Thomas's breakfast for you to savor together.
Thanks, Tom. Hey, are English muffins from England?
Heavens no, they're from the pantry.
Are you from England?
Nay, I am also from the pantry. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
The savings continue with Bi-Mart's latest savings book, including Mobil 1 5-quart high-mileage synthetic oil, now just $24.99. Bi-Mart, celebrating 20 years of employee ownership.
Welcome to the Drive Like a Pro League. Today we've got Kevin facing off against his Thursday commute. Let's see if he can bring that safety A game. He's off. He makes room for a cyclist, and he's already got pedestrians up ahead. He gets the stop. Incredible. Let's take another look at that. Kevin showing excellent technique. As soon as he approaches the crosswalk, he applies that inside brake pressure. The crowd can't believe it. Be like Kevin. Drive like a pro.
Early morning water skiing.
The days we water ski are the best days of our lives because we know we've done so much by 6:30 a.m. The rest of the day is a cakewalk.
Fly the Northwest. Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight.
Hello? You got to get your story straight. Do you want this face to believe that? You're cooked. What an idiot. Get it through your noodle. Don't give a rat's behind. That's baloney.
A new era begins.
And I'm just getting started.
Bigger cases.
She was lured to your apartment.
Higher stakes.
That's almost like kidnapping.
Judy Justice.
It's the premiere of Judy Justice, Monday afternoon at 3, followed by news and Monday Night Football, only on Apple Valley News Now.
Tuesdays, it's a new season of Live with Taraji P. Henson at 50 Cent. Start your mornings with TV's #1 entertainment talk show. Great idea.
This is going to be fun.
Today at 9 on Apple Valley News Now.
Poor maintenance, old tires, bad brakes, that could be why the big truck hit you. Hit by a big truck? I know how to beat their insurance companies. I'm attorney Mariana Morales, the big truck heavy hitter.
Call 853-2222.
E.T. and Extra, tonight at 7 on Apple Valley News Now.
Extra, extra.
From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. We continue to track these very light lingering showers for this morning. Now there is definitely some more lightning off towards the east of us in the Wallowas, but it doesn't really look like a lot of that is in the blues. So we'll put this in motion for the rest of this morning with Futurecast, and I think I stepped through that a little bit too quick. We'll do that again, but there's not much to see here as we're thinking that most of this is likely going to dissipate before 8 a.m., at least within our viewing area. And after lunchtime, we should be completely dry, and the clouds will start to clear out, and we should end up having a pretty nice day. That'll be cooler compared to yesterday, but still a few degrees above average for this time of the year. So we'll end up near 90 in the Tri-Cities, a little bit cooler than that with mid-80s for the foothills. And the winds will be calming down today, although they could still gust upwards of 20 to 30 miles per hour for the foothills, for the basin, also for the Kittitas Valley. For tonight, the winds could still gust upwards of 20 miles per hour for the Kittitas Valley, but other than that, it's going to be a pretty calm and comfortable night with overnight lows dropping down into the 50s and 60s, a little bit of light haze up in the sky. Okay, we'll be of course, for today, we're actually going to be a little super seasonal, but even more super seasonal for Wednesday, and then flirting with triple digits again in the Tri-Cities for Thursday, but especially for Friday and Saturday. A little bit of relief from the heat is going to be in store for Sunday and Monday, but we'll still be above average for this time of the year. You tie in some of the dry weather that we'll have, and man, our vegetation is going to be very dry into Sunday and Monday of next week, so we have a very dangerous fire setup ahead of us. Here's a 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. A small AM shower chance for this morning, but will be dry for the rest of the forecast period, near 100 by Friday and Saturday. For Yakima, upper 80s to low 90s for Tuesday and Wednesday, mid 90s starting on Thursday. Then for Ellensburg, a week long of hot and dry weather, and again, a very dangerous fire weather setup for Sunday and Monday with some of the breezes and with just how dry our vegetation is going to be. And then for Hermiston, a small shower chance for this morning, dry and hot for the rest of the forecast period. And then for Walla Walla, also a chance of a lingering shower for this morning, and then stuck in that hot and dry pattern afterwards.
Thank you, Josh. In Oregon, the possession of small amounts of drugs is once again illegal. Sunday was the first day the law went into effect, and on the first day, police say several arrests were made in downtown Portland. This law applies to drugs like fentanyl, heroin, and meth. A nonprofit group is out on the streets trying to help some people go through the deflection process instead of going to jail.
You know, we just do everything we can to plant the seed and give them an opportunity to change.
Megan Buchanan has been on the team of 4 people walking around Old Town Portland, responding to calls and setting people up with a plan for deflection. Her personal history with addiction informs how she handles each case.
And once we get to talking to them and they understand that we have lived experience, I think it makes them soften up a lot, and then they're a lot more willing to talk to us and work with us.
Since House Bill 4002 went into effect on Sunday, Portland Police says 4 people have been arrested for drug possession. And the 4D team says they've helped 4 other people start the deflection process. But one hurdle has stood in the way so far.
The main issue that I'm seeing down here is that we need more detoxes. We need, there was not really anywhere open yesterday, so that was a little bit of a struggle.
Things are coming online, even though it's hard to see it right now in the moment.
4D's executive director, Tony Vesna, says though they've been able to create service plans for everyone, some people have had to wait to get into housing or a detox facility. But he says this will soon become a thing of the past.
The legislature made, investments over $100 million into treatment services last session. It takes time to get those things up and running. Right now, it's like day one, did it all work? No, but it's starting to work and things are starting to change and people are going to get help. A couple of years from now, I believe we'll be sitting in a much better place.
The team knows it's the early days, and they'll work with the county and police over time to create the best path to success for those suffering from addiction.
When I talk to people who are out using, who are on the streets, they want to quit. They know that they need to quit. It's going to take a little time, and it is happening.
What they need is help and treatment, and I get that sometimes it takes more than once and all that, but I do know that they're worth it,
The Portland Police Department made it clear on Friday that the criteria was strict for deflection programs and expect that most people caught in possession of drugs will go to jail. Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, Adele may be saying goodbye to music. We have what she told a crowd in Germany over the weekend. Keep it here to find out what exactly she said. And as we go to break, we're listening to Hello because, hello, we don't want Adele to say goodbye. We'll be right back, but in the meantime, enjoy this masterpiece of a song.
To go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing.
Smoke City for Less is your one-stop shop in Kennewick, Richland, West Richland, Hermiston, Road 68 in Pasco, and at the new location on West Court Street in Pasco. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. at all 6 locations. Get the lowest prices on the largest selection of vape models, classic to tropical vape flavors, batteries, cigars, tobacco products, kratom, and specialty products too. Don't waste time in other places. Go to Smoke City for Less. We smoke the competition.
Get 2.9% APR for 36 months plus $1,000 purchase allowance on most 2024 Cadillac models when you finance through Cadillac Financial.
Thank you for making Apple Valley News Now's Good Morning Northwest the most watched local morning news program in our area. What's new, what's now, and what's next, plus first alert weather every 10 minutes. Wake up with Good Morning Northwest from Apple Valley News Now on your side. When Apple Valley News Now First Alert Weather forecasted weekend thunderstorms,
we're going to see some heavy showers,
especially in Yakima and Kittitas County.
Viewers told us that their phone weather apps didn't mention them.
Weather apps show no rain or thunderstorms in Sunnyside, Yakima area.
The weather app says nothing but sunshine. Who do I listen to?
That Saturday was one of the biggest days of thunderstorms we've seen in recent memory. Trust the Apple Valley News Now First Alert Weather Team to get it right. Unlike weather apps, we're local and on your side.
Next ET. The biggest of the biggest. Pitt, Clooney, Craig, the stars taking over the Venice Film Festival. Plus, Ryan Seacrest counts down to his Wheel of Fortune debut. Next ET.
Tonight at 7 on Apple Valley News Now.
Every locally broadcast game, the Seattle Kraken, all season long on Apple Valley News Now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. In entertainment news, we are learning it may be a while before Adele says hello to an audience again.
No. Well, not really. During a show in Munich, Germany on Saturday, the Grammy-winning singer told the crowd she plans to take a long break after her Las Vegas residency ends.
At the show, Adele said she wants to rest and take time to live the new life that she's been building.
Adele is set to perform the remaining 10 shows of her Las Vegas residency this fall, and her last show is November 23rd. You know what?
So
everyone deserves a break every now and then.
I like how more celebrities are coming out and saying they need a break, that they're taking some time off, that they don't want, fans bombarding them.
It's best for their mental health. So
Exactly.
I think that's great.
Yeah. Well, in more entertainment news, actor Brad Pitt and his girlfriend Inez de Ramon made their red carpet debut at the Venice Film Festival on Sunday.
He was seen posing with actor George Clooney and his wife Amal. According to People, 60-year-old Pitt has been dating jewelry designer de Ramon for 2 years.
Pitt and de Ramon have attended some big events together in the past, but until now they've had not posed for photos or walked the red carpet together.
So this is what the young people call a hard launch,
I guess so,
on the red carpet, or they're officially official.
Officially official.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Once you make your red carpet debut.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's how the celebrities
It's the Facebook official of celebrities.
All right. Well, coming up next, we will have Downtown Summer Nights is officially over, but the Downtown Association of Yakima has more fun events coming up. We'll tell you all about the annual Chalk Art Festival.
And there have been several hit and run cases across the Tri-Cities in recent weeks. We look at how these cases are different from other cases and also what you're supposed to do after a crash. That's in the next half hour, but first, here are your Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Brazil shuts down X. Brazil's Supreme Court upheld a ban on the social media platform after the company refused to block accounts spreading disinformation. Anyone using X in Brazil could be fined nearly $10,000, but some legal experts question the grounds for the decision and how it would be enforced. Next, Huawei will attempt to upstage Apple. The Chinese tech giant has scheduled a new product launch on September 10th, just hours after the iPhone 16 reveal. Huawei is expected to unveil the world's first tri-fold smartphone. And finally, Windows 11 is now the top operating system for PC gaming 3 years after it launched. According to the Stream data, more than 50% of gamers now use Windows 11 over Windows 10, making it the most popular operating system for gamers. Personally, I still prefer the old classics over computer games. It's not you, Windows. It's a me, Mario. Have a great day.
Inez, let me ask you, you're using Head & Shoulders, right?
Only when I see flakes. Then I switch back to my regular shampoo.
You should use it every wash. Otherwise, the flakes will come back.
He's right, you know.
Pat Mahomes washes a woman's hair.
Is that Tiny Troy?
The ingredients in Head & Shoulders keep the microbes that cause flakes that big.
Microbes? Really?
They're always on your scalp. But good news, there's no itchiness, dryness, or flakes down here.
I love Tiny Troy and his tiny, gorgeous hair.
Troy Polamalu.
Make every wash count. And for stubborn dandruff, try Head & Shoulders Clinical Strength.
Zyrtec allergy relief works fast and lasts a full 24 hours, so Dave can be the
deliverer of dance.
Okay, Dave. Let's be more than our allergies. Z's the day with Zyrtec.
Take a breath of fresh air with a Stanley Steamer air duct cleaning. We clean over 10 million feet of air ducts each year with our specialized trucks, built by us, removing the contaminants from your home. Your air ducts aren't clean until they're Stanley Steamer clean.
It's your home cleaner.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good morning, Northwest. On your side.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. I'm Jessica DeLal.
I'm Jill Sperling.
And I'm Josh Colbert.
Josh, it was super windy yesterday. We could hear the building shaking. We saw the camera shaking. A little less wind this morning.
Yeah, the wind advisory, it expired at 5 this morning, but it's especially spooky, like being in the gravel parking lot.
You said it, you're ready for Halloween.
He said it.
He said spooky.
I should have said it. No, we have like a warehouse or some sort of like the storage units over there, and you can hear those metallic doors banging around in the wind. So yeah, it a little spooky. All right. For this morning, we still do have some winds left over from yesterday's disturbance, but definitely nothing like what we saw just 24 hours back. You're taking a live look right now atop our studio in Kennewick. This view coming courtesy of Health First. You see some of the branches swaying in the wind. And here's the leftover remnants of the disturbance from yesterday, producing a little bit of lightning. There's one that is just outside the confines of Franklin County, and a little bit more lightning in the Wallowas, but we're thinking that most of this is going to be off the map come time for 9 o'clock this morning. Current temperatures are in the 60s and 70s, pretty mild / balmy out there, so you might need a light jacket, but a very light one at that. So for today, a little bit later today, the clouds will start to clear out. We'll get plenty of sunshine. We'll be cooler compared to yesterday, but still will be a few degrees above average for this time of the year. And I'll show you just how dry our vegetation is. It's going to be much drier by the end of this week, but it's still pretty dry for today. So I'll show you the metrics to back that up coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Starting off this half hour, law enforcement are shedding light on several serious hit-and-run cases across the Tri-Cities in recent weeks.
These include a man driving off after hitting a pregnant woman walking near the cable bridge, and another man fleeing the scene after hitting a Ben Franklin transit bus into a residence yard in Richland.
Our Riley Fitzgerald tells us how hit-and-run cases are different from others and what you're supposed to do after a collision.
When in a car crash or a collision of any kind, Washington law says you need to pull over and share your insurance and vehicle information with the other driver or anybody else involved. Leaving the scene without doing that nearly guarantees you a criminal charge if caught.
So the state requires you to stick around after you've been involved in a collision, but that could be the difference between maybe getting a ticket, maybe getting no ticket, or having a criminal charge, a misdemeanor. If there are injuries to the person, it could even be a felony.
For hitting a car with no people in it and leaving with no note, Washington state law says that's a misdemeanor. That raises to a gross misdemeanor if the car is occupied, and a hit and run that causes injury to another person is a Class C felony.
The most serious type of hit and run case is a hit and run that causes death. That's a Class B felony.
The decision takes just seconds after a collision. Stay or go.
If you're involved in an accident, you have to stop, right? You have to stop, you have to provide your information, you have to check on the person, and if necessary, you have to render aid.
The reasonable assistance requirement in Washington state is what Benton County prosecutor Eric Eisinger calls the most interesting part of the statute.
Because most of the time the law doesn't require you to take any kind of affirmative action. The law restricts certain behavior, but in this instance the law actually requires, if you were involved in an accident, to stop and to help someone. There's this affirmative duty under the law to provide help, to take them to the hospital if they need it, to call 911 if it's needed. And that's just a part of being a good citizen, right? Like taking care of the people in our own community.
The Richland Police Department says nearly all of the hit and runs reported in the city do get closed, and part of that is thanks to the abundant use of cameras.
There are cameras everywhere now, so be it on a business, be it on a residence, but yeah, the dash cameras are really prevalent now, and high definition video, super useful. So yeah, those are great tools to run investigations off.
If you're the victim of a hit and run, officials say it's important to get to a safe place and report as much information about the other vehicle as you know, like the make, model, color, and license plate. In Benton County, I'm Riley Fitzgerald with Apple Valley News Now.
Law enforcement says while it may seem like there have been more hit and runs than previous years, Benton County is right about on track for its average at this time of year.
Pacific Power in both Washington and Oregon is warning the public of several recent scams targeting utility customers. Officials say people are posing as company employees to try to get money and steal personal information.
The scammers are targeting customers via phone calls, texts, social media messages, email, and by knocking on doors. If this happens to you, you're asked to report it to your local police department. September is National Weather Preparedness Month, sponsored by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. It's held annually, and it's a good reminder that natural and man-made disasters can strike at any time. It's important to have a planned response when you're at work, on vacation, or on the road.
In 2022, more than 69,000 weather-related events resulted in 813 deaths and 1,718 injuries. Winter weather, heat, floods, and hurricanes resulted in the most deaths that year, according to Injury Facts. The motorcade escorting Democratic vice presidential nominee and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to a campaign stop in Milwaukee was involved in a car accident yesterday. And to clarify, Walz's vehicle was not involved.
Several press vans got into an accident on Interstate 794 on their way to Walz's appearance at a Milwaukee labor group event. A report detailed staff in the vans were violently thrown forward as one van slammed into another and was then hit from behind. Some staffers were treated by medical personnel.
One staffer appeared to have sustained an injury to their arm. Walz spoke at the Milwaukee Area Labor Council's Labor Fest 2024 yesterday afternoon, and he said during his speech that he was informed that all who were involved in the crash will be okay.
Sunnyside City Manager Mike Gonzalez is hosting a meeting today to discuss the community and economic development department's planning and permitting processes and how they can be improved.
Gonzalez says developers, contractors, and engineers are especially encouraged to attend. This takes place this afternoon from 1:15 to 2:45 at City Hall. And downtown summer nights may be over for the year, but the Downtown Association of Yakima has more fun coming up. Get ready for a colorful day at the annual Chalk Art Festival on October 12th. This year's theme is Music in Motion. About 20 artists already signed up to showcase their skills, but they're still accepting applications with room for 10 to 15 more.
Then the annual Sip and Stroll moved this year to October 26th.
We're going to kind of give a little bit of a Halloween theme to it. The adults are going to be able to trick or treat downtown. This year we've extended it to 21 beverage makers, so there will be a lot more locations to try alcohol at.
Plus, the organization's annual Trunk or Treat event, Marketplace Monster Mash, is set for October 31st.
Up next on Good Morning Northwest, a mysterious sound that was heard inside the Boeing Starliner capsule has now stopped. We have what NASA is saying that strange sound was.
But first, Josh will have what you can expect today in his weather forecasts. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
An awesome water skiing adventure. Fly the Northwest tonight at 6.
Is that house-made guac going on a Carl's Jr. burger? Smooth, zesty, charbroiled, beefy, melty pepper jack, cheesy, saucy temptation, crisp bacon too. I give. Give in to the guac bacon burger, only at Carl's Jr. Big burger.
Good burger.
Okay, guys, we're all here because US Cellular has an incredible deal. Right now, you can get 4 lines for just $90.
Sorry, just double checking. Is it really that good of a deal?
Yeah. It's a huge deal. You also get 4 free phones of your choice.
4 free phones.
Wow, I just triple checked and that's awesome.
So go get that deal. Or at least help me clip. Do you check the expiration dates?
Oh, I can do that.
Great.
Get 4 free phones of your choice with no trade-in needed, plus 4 lines for $90.
It's time once again for the Walla Walla Valley Quilt Festival. 2 big days, September 13th and 14th at the Walla Walla Fairgrounds. This year's theme is 2 crayons. Quilters choose 2 colors randomly and then add a third to create amazing fabric works of art. Check out hourly demos, shop the vendors, and have a great time. Enjoy both big days for just $8. Meet featured quilter Robin Long of Robin Ruth Design and local featured quilter Julianne Gunningham. Mark your calendar now, September 13th and 14th, the Walla Walla Valley Quilt Festival.
The best bulls in the world have come to town. For bull riders, 8 seconds can make them a champion or nothing. It's bull time. Kennewick. Get your tickets now at pbr.com/tickets or Ticketmaster.
The White Card, a powerful resource for former Hanford and DOE employees. If you worked in the area and have come down with cancer, lung disease, Parkinson's, or renal failure, you may be eligible for financial compensation and healthcare services. A simple phone call can get the process started. Atomic Home Health. Don't wait. Call today.
Welcome to Nob Hill Casino in Yakima. Experience the thrill of our Vegas-style casino featuring the friendliest dealers in town. Join our Players Club and earn exciting rewards. Enjoy games like Blackjack, Pai Gow, and High Card Flush. While you're here, don't forget to unwind with a drink at our cozy bar or enjoy a meal from our restaurant. Come discover Yakima's ultimate entertainment destination, Nob Hill Casino, where the locals play.
Is that house-made guac going on a Carl's Jr. burger? Smooth, zesty, charbroiled, beefy, melty pepper jack, cheesy, saucy temptation, crisp bacon too. I give. Give in to the guac bacon burger, only at Carl's Jr. Made burger.
Get burger.
My name's Morgan, single mother of 3 with an IQ of 160.
We could use someone with your talents.
Me? Work with cops?
I see you brought your child to a crime scene.
Ryan, Vanna, Wheel of Fortune. Where can you finally see a first look behind the scenes of the new Wheel set?
Let me show you. It's like a magic wand.
This morning,
It's Wheel of Fortune. How can we not be happy?
Ginger's right there on
Good Morning America.
From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbreth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. We have temperatures this morning in Kittitas County in the 50s and 60s, 64 for Ellensburg, 62 for Cleon, 66 for Vantage, and then for the Yakima Valley, even some 70s this morning. 70 officially in Yakima, 65 for Union Gap, 65 degrees for Toppenish, and then for the lower Columbia Basin, looks like all of us are in the 60s, although we're cutting it pretty close to 70 in the Tri-Cities and up towards the Hanford side, but the rest of us in the 60s. And then for the foothills of the Blues, a little bit cooler, 50s and 60s, and then for the higher terrain of the Blue Mountains, we're just in the 50s. So some of us do need a jacket for this morning, but it'll be a pretty light jacket. Here's your hour by hour for today for the Tri-Cities. There's a very small chance of a shower lingering this morning, mostly before 8 a.m., but after that, we're going to have dry conditions and the skies will turn mostly clear. So plenty of sunshine out there, and we'll end up being hot, still a few degrees above average for this time of the year. So we'll end up near 90 in the Tri-Cities, and I'll show you what that's going to do to our vegetation dryness. Remember, the 100th percentile would be the driest vegetation on record. So we're going to be up near the 78th percentile today for Kittitas and Yakima counties, up around the 75th percentile for the lower Columbia Basin, up around the 75th percentile for the Blue Mountains as well. So today's fire start potential not as great as yesterday's, just given we don't have as much lightning or breezes in the forecast. But these numbers are going to go up with some very hot weather on the way. I'll tell you just how hot coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. A mysterious sound heard inside the Boeing Starliner capsule has stopped and will not impact its planned return to Earth.
Yesterday, NASA said the pulsing sound was feedback from an audio configuration between the International Space Station and the Starliner capsule. The agency confirmed the spacecraft will undock from the ISS as early as Friday to begin its return to Earth.
It's scheduled to land in New Mexico's White Sands Space Harbor after midnight on Saturday. Starliner's return to Earth will be without its 2-person crew. The spacecraft blasted off on June 5th with 2 astronauts on board for a trip to the ISS.
And what was supposed to be an 8-day mission turned into a lengthy, delayed stay in space as a result of issues plaguing Starliner. NASA previously said the 2 Starliner astronauts will fly home aboard a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule in February.
A Seattle-based company is aiming to blast a space plane into orbit. Up on your screen is an artist's rendering of Radian 1. The goal is to create a cost-effective alternative to rockets by doing away with rocket stages that either fall back to Earth or return for reuse. For launch, and the space plane rides on top of a rocket-powered sled.
It looks so cool. The sled then picks up speed along a 2-mile rail track before releasing the space plane. It then flies into orbit under the power of its own engines. It would carry a crew of up to 5 astronauts and be reusable up to 100 times. And it could be used to put satellites into orbit, also conduct surveillance and gather intelligence for the military or service space stations.
We're living in the future. Up next on Good Morning Northwest, Toyota is recalling 43,000 Sequoia hybrid cars, and we'll tell you why and which models it affects. That and more of your top stories are coming up in your morning sprint.
The first Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbert will have your full weather forecast. That is in just a few minutes. Keep it right here.
Craving our world-famous hand-rolled crisp burritos with creamy, bacony, chipotle, smoky goodness? Try our new smoky pork crisp burrito for a limited time. When you know what you want, anytime is taco time.
Bad sleep.
No, the worst.
You know, there's really no excuse for bad sleep. During the extended Labor Day sale at Denver Mattress. Right now, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Take up to $100 off our Doctor's Choice Original lineup and up to $200 off our Doctor's Choice Hybrid lineup. Check out the Summit, just $299.99. Or get 60 months, no interest, and free shipping.
I'm Eduardo Morfin. Morfin Law Firm thanks you for 5 years of support. Remember, when choosing an attorney, select a local attorney that supports your local community.
When Apple Valley News Now First Alert weather forecasted weekend thunderstorms.
We're going to see some heavy showers,
especially in Yakima and Kittitas County.
Viewers told us that their phone weather apps didn't mention them.
Weather apps show no rain or thunderstorms in Sunnyside, Yakima area.
The weather app says nothing but sunshine. Who do I listen to?
That Saturday was one of the biggest days of thunderstorms we've seen in recent memory. Trust the Apple Valley News Now First Alert weather team to get it right. Unlike weather apps, we're local and on your side.
Sometimes life is a funny way of turning sideways, like when your kid decides they're a professional stylist the morning of picture day, or when your to-do list isn't quite done.
You went to Rite Aid, right?
Or when you're sure you packed everything you need, but you actually need one more thing.
We forgot our prescriptions. We got you. Are we happy?
We are happy. Find everything you need?
Yep. Yeah, life never really goes the way you plan, but that's why we're here. It means more at Rite Aid.
Early morning water skiing.
The days we water ski are the best days of our lives because we know we've done so much by 6:30 a.m. The rest of the day is a cakewalk.
Fly the Northwest. Apple Valley News Now at 6 tonight.
Craving our world-famous hand-rolled crisp burritos with creamy, bacony, chipotle, smoky goodness? Try our new smoky pork crisp burrito for a limited time. When you know what you want, anytime is taco time.
The Seattle Kraken, all season on Apple Valley News Now. From Apple Valley News Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbert.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. We're continuing to watch the remnants of this disturbance that we dealt with overnight. And of course, we're seeing a little bit of that still putting down some lightning in the Wallowas. And also there was this one strike just to the north of us in Adams County. But for the most part, within the confines of our viewing area, we're not really seeing all that much in the way of lightning or even showers. The showers that are on the map are pretty light. We're thinking they'll mostly be out of our viewing area by around 8, 9 o'clock this morning. And then after that, should have plenty of sunshine and should end up being a pretty nice Tuesday. So for today will be cooler compared to yesterday, but will still be a few degrees above average for this time of the year, ending up near 90 in the Tri-Cities. Breezes will be calming down, although they could still gust between 20 to 30 miles per hour for the foothills, for the basin, and also up in the Kittitas Valley. And then for tonight, the winds could continue to gust upwards of 20 miles per hour for the Kittitas Valley. Elsewhere, they'll be calm. Overnight lows dropping off into the 50s and 60s, so a little bit cooler, definitely compared to what we're dealing with for this morning. Okay, so we're a little bit above average for today. I've established that, but we'll be even more above average for Wednesday, and then flirting with triple digits again for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday within the Tri-Cities. It looks like the peak of this is going to be on Saturday, and then high temperatures will fall off into Sunday and Monday, but we'll still be above average. So this is going to be a pretty prolonged stretch of hot and dry weather. Not much rainfall in the forecast at all, which means that our vegetation is going to look pretty dry, and it's going to be a pretty volatile fire situation by the time we get to Sunday and Monday. Here's a 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. A small shower chance for this morning, pretty dry after that, and near 100 by the time we get to Friday and Saturday. For Yakima, upper 80s to low 90s for Tuesday and Wednesday, mid 90s starting on Thursday. For Ellensburg, a week long of hot and dry weather, and that means, again, we'll have very dangerous fire weather, very dry vegetation into Sunday and Monday, especially when you factor in some of the wind gusts that we could have. And then for Hermiston, a small shower chance for this morning, dry and hot for the rest of the forecast period. And in Walla Walla, also a chance of a lingering shower for this morning, and then we'll be stuck in that hot and dry pattern afterwards.
Now, the morning sprint.
The time is 5:49. It's time for your morning sprint in our 5 o'clock hour.
We're going to take you right to your 6 o'clock hour, but first up, here are the top 5 local things you need to know this morning. The first day of preschool at First United Methodist Church in Benton City has been delayed. Classes were supposed to start today, but a car crashed into the church over the weekend, damaging the building. A female driver was taken to the hospital after the crash, and charges are pending. For now, there's no timeline for when preschool can start.
And there have been a number of serious hit-and-run cases across the Tri-Cities recently. Washington law requires you to pull over and share insurance information whenever you've been in a collision. Leaving the scene without doing that nearly guarantees you a criminal charge. If you're the victim of a hit-and-run, get to a safe place and report as much information about the car as you can, like the make, model, color, and license plate.
Coming up this afternoon, Sunnyside's city manager is hosting a meeting to discuss the Community and Economic Development Department's planning and permitting process and how it can be improved. Developers, contractors, and engineers are especially encouraged to attend. This takes place this afternoon from 1:15 to 2:45 at City Hall.
Pacific Power in both Washington and Oregon is warning the public of several recent scams targeting utility customers. Officials say people are posing as company employees to try to get money and steal personal information. The scammers are targeting customers via phone calls, texts, social media messages, email, and by knocking on doors. If this happens to you, you are to report it to your local police department.
The city of Yakima is reminding residents of downtown Yakima that if you want to park in 2-hour spots past the time limit, you need a permit for that. Residents have reportedly complained to the city about receiving tickets for staying past the limit when other spots were full. Now that the city is enforcing parking time limits again, residents will need to pay $50 a year to be able to stay past the limit.
In your national news, a strike affecting dozens of hotels across the country could grow today. The walkout includes more than 10,000 Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt employees, and the union is threatening to add locations in more cities.
The union that represents the striking workers says the chains still have some pandemic-era cuts in place. In a statement, Hyatt says it looks forward to fair contract negotiations. Hilton says it's also committed to reaching a deal with the union. Today was scheduled to be the last day of the strike.
The motorcade escorting Democratic vice presidential nominee and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to a campaign stop in Milwaukee was involved in a car accident yesterday. And to clarify, Walz's vehicle was not involved.
Some staffers were treated by medical personnel. Walz spoke at the Milwaukee Area Labor Council's Labor Fest 2024 yesterday afternoon, and he said during his speech that he was informed all who were injured in the crash will be okay.
In your business news, Toyota is recalling more than 43,000 Sequoia hybrids. It's because the tow hitch cover on the rear bumper can detach and fall into the roadway. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the covers could become road hazards and increase the risk of crashes.
The recalled vehicles include the 2023 and 2024 model years. Dealers will fix the issue for free.
The Mega Millions lottery jackpot has climbed to an estimated $681 million. The cash option is $336.1 million.
The jackpot swelled after no ticket matched all 6 numbers in Friday night's drawing. The next drawing is tonight, and if there's a big winner, it would be the 7th largest jackpot in the game's history.
In your health headlines, King County Public Health issued a warning after a rabid bat was discovered in a Seattle neighborhood. A pedestrian spotted the bat and immediately notified animal control.
Public Health tested the bat for rabies, and the test came back positive. On Friday, the bat was euthanized.
A water quality warning for residents who occupy the South Moses Lake zone. The Grant County Health District received a report of a suspect blue-green algae bloom in the area. Samples to test for toxins will be taken this week.
Blue-green algae blooms can produce toxins that are harmful to people and pets, so officials say to stay out of the lake water in this area and avoid boating in areas of scum. The health district says they will be posting signs for this area, and they will be up until sampling shows toxin levels are within safe limits.
Nearly 159,000 children in Gaza have received a polio vaccine within the first 2 days of the UN-led campaign. Vaccinations are being carried out in three-day phases in central, southern, and northern Gaza through September 12th, and that's according to the Ministry of Health in Gaza.
They aim to vaccinate 640,000 children, which is just over 90% of children under the age of 10, and that's according to the UNRWA.
In your sports headlines, the Mariners opened a 4-game series in Oakland yesterday.
The Mariners lost the opener 5-4. They're now 69-69 on the season and 5.5 games back in the wild card race. Check this out, Joey Chestnut, the man known for his competitive hot dog eating, well, he just beat his own world hot dog eating record.
So Chestnut beat his longtime rival. He had unfinished beef with Takeru Kobayashi. And these two are known as the biggest global stars in the world of professional competitive eating.
This is my kind of story right there, right? The 16-time Nathan's Hot Dog champion devoured 83 all-beef hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes, while Kobayashi ate 66 hot dogs and buns in the Netflix Labor Day event in Las Vegas.
Now, 3 years ago, Chestnut downed a then world record 76 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. Chestnut thanked his rival, saying he had been trying to hit 80 hot dogs for years and that he couldn't have done it without Kobayashi driving him to do it.
So this was the first time the two nemesis have faced off in 15 years. They need a Netflix movie, by the way. Well, this victory earns Chestnut $100,000 in prize money, a hot dog-shaped trophy, and a World Wrestling Entertainment Design Championship title belt. Obviously the best part.
Yeah, well, according to the Netflix streaming service, 2,400 hot dogs were cooked in the last month for the contest, 300 prepared for Monday's main event.
And if you remember, Chestnut was banned from competing at this year's Nathan's Famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest due to his sponsorship deal with rival plant-based food company Impossible Foods.
Well, looks like Joey Chestnut got his justice.
It's about time.
I remember Josh was upset. He's like, justice for Joey Chestnut.
Everything comes full circle.
They don't make those hot dogs look that appealing.
Yeah,
though.
they dip it in water. And
I know.
I don't like watching it, but I like the principle of it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, luckily we're not eating hot dogs because this next story might make you want to, puke. Well, are you guys fans of roller coasters?
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, yeah, me too. So a roller coaster of your own, if you had that on your property, what would you think? Ooh. Like in your backyard?
I don't know.
I would ride it.
Yeah,
that's what I
would be like, is this safe? I don't know. I don't feel like dying today. But that's what a dad in Texas did for his kids, building this roller coaster for his 8-year-old son, or twin son and daughter.
Yeah, Fabio decided he didn't want his kids to spend their summer on the couch, and when his son suggested they build a roller coaster in the front yard, he said yes.
Naturally. Well, Fabio says as long as the town and his neighbors are cool with it, he plans to keep the coaster up for a little while before eventually taking it down. That looks like so much fun.
I wish I could do things like that, but I can't.
These kids are so lucky.
Yeah.
Well, up next on Good Morning Northwest at 6, possessing small amounts of drugs is once again illegal in Oregon, and the law is officially in effect. We look at how one group is trying to help drug users change their ways and prevent them from going to jail.
And we're learning more about a car crash near Ellensburg that happened over the weekend. Why Washington State Patrol is saying it wasn't a typical crash.
And I'll have an update on the Williams mine fire, which grew yesterday. Also, I'll show you where we do have some showers lingering for this morning. All that's going to be coming up at 6.